What's up, world? It's Lucas Barra here for another episode of Dream Chasers with my man Rich Brokini. What's up, Rich?
Hey, how you doing, Lucas?
Oh, fantastic. Well, now better that I have you on the show today. And Rich just has so much awesome experience and insights to bring to the show today. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Dream Chasers was a show that I started to help people from all walks of life to turn their dreams into reality and bring entrepreneurs, musicians, athletes on my show to share those insights and perspectives for you who are still in the grind of making it happen, so you can realize that dream, which is why I'm so excited to have Rich. I mean, Rich is just like a well of knowledge and has such a great background. He's a firefighter in San Diego, a 2 times best-selling author. We got a few of his books right now, Serving Without Selling, which is right here. And then we also got fresh reminder, Balance Life, Take Action, and Understand Your Potential. That sounds awesome. And then we also have Rich's coffee company, Third Alarm, which I'm really excited. Like, I was watching your video, coffee, and where you guys get this from. It's like 1% in Colombia, right? Like that or something like that.
Yeah, we get our beans from Central and Southern America, basically the top 1% beans in the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the good stuff. So go check them out, thirdalarmcoffee.com. I will mention it probably throughout the episode and link to it as well. They've got some great stuff. I could probably just keep going with your background. I mean, consultant, speaker, you got it all. So that's why I'm so stoked to have you here. So thanks for stopping by.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And just being here actually is a gift. Anytime you have the opportunity to share some ideas and talk to people like you, it's a really cool thing. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, let's start with like your journey. Like, how did you? So you've been a firefighter for a while, but like kind of take us through the short version of like how you got to where you are now.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I've been in the fire service for about 25 years now, and hold currently a rank of a battalion chief. And it's been a complete gift to work in what I would call a life of service and to help others and get paid to do it. It's been pretty unique. And throughout that process, like you said, I've written a couple books. I founded Third Alarm Coffee and Tea, which is something I'm really proud of because it's a company with a purpose beyond profit. And what we do is we give a portion of all proceeds to the Firefighter Cancer Support Network, which is an organization that helps firefighters affected by cancer. And not many people know this, but 1 in 3 firefighters will be diagnosed with cancer. And so we made our mission to help the FCSN, and so they can impact as many firefighters throughout the fire service in the U.S. as possible.
Wow.
And some other stuff that I've done throughout my life. I was in a Mexican boy band.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, that was fun. So we sang in Spanish. We traveled all over and had some pretty cool success and met some really neat people, and was a great experience. And just done a lot of different things. Have some different inventions that I've created, and yeah. So this is kind of where we are today, and continuing to learn and grow and build different things to hopefully impact others on a human level. And yeah.
I mean, you remind me, like, even from the first time I met you, like, you're like Jamie Foxx. I mean, you like literally will like do anything. You just have like, so many little things that like, it seems like you're just not afraid to try anything.
Yeah, I'm definitely not afraid to try anything. And I think the biggest element to that for me is that I don't want to live in a box. And I don't think we should live in a box. And, so I enjoy trying other things. I enjoy challenging myself. Some things I'm much better at than others. Some things I would say that I suck on a standard level, but I'm out there doing it because I enjoy the challenge and learning new things and being exposed. And I love that adrenaline that comes along with all those things. And I think anytime we put ourselves in new situations, we grow in some aspect, and we can implement that in our lives down the road. And really started to understand that about 7 years ago when I started the journey of more of self-improvement, figure out, who the hell I am. Yeah.
Well, talk about where that journey got started for you. So what was that moment where you really decided to take self-improvement on?
So, there wasn't one particular moment. You hear a lot of people say that, it's one moment that changed your life. But for me, I think there was a bunch of stacking moments. I was very successful in my life, career-wise and financially. and with many different things that I would try, the music band and other things, and from hobbies of riding my dirt bike or surfing, and would be very successful in these areas. And then I kind of would realize that even though with that success financially and career-wise, that I wasn't really taking time to figure out who I am and what I'm about. And people would tell me, hey, you're really great here, but you're kind of a dick over here. And you're really good here, but when you said that, you kind of were an asshole. And so I started to reflect on that, and I started to realize that I really had an ability and gift to help people throughout my life. I would help people when they went through divorce or lost somebody in their family or something major in their life, and realized that's what I did in the fire service as well. So I did in the personal life for my friends, and then I did that. I've been doing that for 25 years in the fire service. I've been helping people in their situations of challenge. I've been, and it's been really rewarding. And I realized I've never really worked on myself to understand what I'm about and why I do certain things that are really good and why I do certain things that are really challenging. And so I started that path of looking into personal development and self-improvement, and then started to grow who I was and what I'm about and understand how I tick. And age 43, I feel super comfortable with who I am and what I'm about, and my strengths and my challenges, because I continue to have them. Why I have different issues, from avoidance issues to different things in my life, and it stems from family. Why I have great things in my life and do great things, it stems from my family. And so I started kind of resonating, or I started looking for the people that I resonate in the personal development space or self-improvement space, that for me, that were real, authentic, that weren't like shiny shirt, no potions or snake oils, but were real tangible shit that I can implement in my life for understanding of who I am and why I do certain things or act certain ways. And I started this path. And so kind of where I am today. And then from there, I kind of said, I have some stories and messages that I like to get out to people to let them know that they can do it as well. Just like I learned from different people in this space, that if they've done it and they've overcome and they're real about it, and I have some stories that I can share to inspire, to impact people to do the same thing. And I'm kind of learning that process and how that works with speaking and writing books and coaching and consulting and all those kinds of things. And so that's how I kind of got in the space to really want to figure out who I am and what I'm about. And I just think that in society, we don't do that enough. I think we all just kind of go in our own silo, and there's a lot of wanting, and there's not a lot of action behind figuring out who we are. And once we figure out who we are, what we're about, we can sit in that. It's powerful.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean about it's not about being perfect, it's not about perfection. It's just about progress in who we are. And it's about understanding even who we are and living in our challenges, our weaknesses, or our blind spots that we're aware of. And that's a really powerful place to be in. And so it's been a pretty cool journey, and I learn every single day. So
that's awesome. So I'm sure there are some audience members out there going like, well, Rich, like, what are like the first steps that I can take to kind of find out like more of who I am?
What's cool about personal development is it's not the goal of being Rich Brocchini, or it's about being themselves, and everybody has to figure that out on their own. And there are seminars, there are books, there are audios you can download. There are different classes or programs you can download. There are many different things, and I think people have to find what resonates with them. If they need to go to in-person seminars or events or masterminds, that works for them. Or if they read books and they can, and that works for them. And with all that said, or all those things, but I think the real magic comes with action. We have to take action, and we have to either get to a point in our life where we go, okay, it's time. It's time for me to make a shift and make a change, or to share my abilities and my talents with the world, so I can impact other people. So I just think it takes, everybody's different, right? So everybody's going to learn or discover that at their own time. It could be when they're 19, it could be when they're 91. And I think that we're starting to see a shift in our society where people are becoming more aware of less institutionalized education and more self-development, about people being the best they can and figuring out why they are screwed up in some ways and why they're great in some ways. So I think we're starting to see a shift in that, and I think people will be exposed more to that with the internet and everything that's going on, in our society. And so I think people will discover that when it's time for them. If it's grace, if it's divine intervention, if it's God, if it's the universe, I just think people will find that when the time is right.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's such an interesting thought because, really finding people's gifts, I think is something that is not really as out there as it should be because it's such a big deal. We're all taught, kind of just from where we've come from that, you go to school, you get a job and you fit in a job description, but it's my belief that we all have, a certain gift that we have to learn how to tap into, but like you don't, most of the time you don't know how to tap into that. And there's starting to be more resources out there for that, which is great. And I just hope that we continue to trend that way.
So I think what happens, I think historically our society has taught us this word called humility, and I think it's people are defined that in an incorrect way. And people in society have been historically taught, to be quiet and don't speak up when you can do something well, or if you do something well, never take credit for it, and it's a bunch of bullshit, is what it is.
Yeah.
And the reality is that we should be proud that we have these abilities and talents, whatever they may be. It may be a sport, it may be tennis, it may be science. It may be discovery of something. It may be a thought process to be innovative in different industries. It may be many different things out there. And we have historically been taught that we're supposed to be quiet. And the reality is that we're robbing the world of abilities and talents. And I think also lots of times we don't listen to when people say, "Hey, you're really good at this." And I know everybody listening probably has had that multiple times where somebody will say, "Wow, you're a really good speaker," throughout high school or college or not, wherever in their life, they've been well spoken and they'll be able to articulate something and explain something in a very effective manner. And only to realize 10 years later, holy shit, I should be speaking to people so I can impact them. And that makes me feel alive when I do that. Or you're really good at figuring things out. You should be an engineer and help build new things in our world to help us, navigate better through this planet or whatever it may be. And for whatever reason, we push that to the side, I think, historically as a society, when I think it's important for us to live in that power and be okay with that and not be afraid if people think that someone may appear to be egotistic or not because they're proud of their skill set or their abilities or their talents. And so hopefully we shift in that, and hopefully people start sharing that with the rest of the world. And I think that's how we get better collectively as humans.
Yeah, well, and it's creating awareness on platforms like this that do it, and for anyone out there who's listening to just think about like this week or this month, like tune into like what people are saying that you're good at, because you honestly might not be tapping into your gift right now. Like there could be things that you're just missing out on, and if you just take the time to figure out what that is, then you could have your life going in a direction that you never thought possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great counsel.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I'd love to hear what some of the valuable lessons that you've gotten being a firefighter.
Oh wow, being a firefighter. I mean, we get lessons every single day. The biggest lesson as a firefighter is humanity, is compassion and empathy. Is the biggest lesson we get every single day. And we work in a space or in a world that many people will never know, thank God, and will never experience or never really understand. What people lots of times think of firefighters is the sexy calendar, which I'm not on. Or they think of sliding down a pole or a Dalmatian dog, or they think of a firefighter driving on a fire engine or going to fight a fire. But the reality is we do 28 different trades in the fire service. But one of the biggest things that we do is running medical aids or going to medical emergencies, and it could be from car accidents, stabbings, shootings, hangings, drownings, dead babies. I mean, you name it, we've seen it, been part of them. Historically, it's about 20, 30-year career, so we see it every single day. And compassion and empathy is something that we get a lesson in every single day. And if we have time, I can share a story with you, or maybe two, as an example of even just not on what people mostly think of firefighters doing, like fighting fires, where I was brought to tears, and after 25 years. And so we're reminded every single day about the value of life, the value of being human, the value of forgiveness, the value of helping each other in community, and many other things that sometimes we miss in society. We get reminded to get, those are gifts for us. We get reminded every single day, along with the stress side of it. Firefighter was the most stressful job in the United States in 2015, by the way. And I love talking about that and starting to talk more about that. But on the side of compassion, empathy, and some things that people don't see that we're exposed to, not a gruesome story, but a couple of stories that are kind of just in that same path is, I remember that we went on this call, it was years ago, and I was a fire captain at the time, and we responded to some homeless people, and one of the homeless man got beat up, and so we responded there, and the rest of the group was super thankful that we were there to render aid and help, and we were obviously very compassionate. And there was this lady there. I remember she had some sushi, like the kind you get like at the supermarket. It's already made. And these are people that struggle, that struggle to get food and beg for money, and that have some addiction issues and those things that we're trying to overcome, that anybody in life can get caught up in. And they were so thankful that we were able to help and basically save their friend that was homeless to them. This lady offered food to us. Obviously we get paid for what we do, and we can buy our own food, and they probably understand and know that. But the fact that I had to walk around the fire engine and start crying, because it reminded me of my mom, because my mom was a heroin addict, or became a heroin addict, and she lived on the streets. And I thought, wow, that my mom is healthy now, and she's sober for past 22 years, and she's doing great. And so I put myself right away, like, whoa, I just flashed into what my mom went through. But the compassion this lady showed us, that was homeless, they had no money, they had no clothes, they had to beg for food, to offer us food because we helped another human being that she cared about, was incredibly emotional. And it was rewarding and emotional at the same time, and it was humbling. And so I remember I had to walk around the fire engine, and I was bawling, and then walk back over, and we continue to do what we do. It was just it was a reminder of compassion, empathy at a whole nother level. And then another something else that I remember was there was a man that brought his 18-month-old daughter to the fire station and said, I can't take care of my daughter anymore. And it was like I was the first person he came in contact with, and so we had this long conversation of why and what, and the mother is off doing other things and couldn't be found, and seemed to have some type of a potential addiction issue, and it was just a girlfriend of his, but he had raised his daughter, and he wanted to move on with his life, and the mom was just nowhere to be found, and so he didn't know what to do anymore. And the fact that we had to call the police to come and take this 18-month-old little girl away, and she was going to be put in foster care. And once that process starts, it's really tough to get them out. Was emotional. I have a young daughter, and to watch this little girl cry in this police car driven away, not knowing what was going on, was just was just an emotional roller coaster. And those are different stories that we live with or get exposed to, that the public doesn't see. There's some other stories that are really, but I don't want to get into some gruesome side of the stories that are sad. But the fire department, with those two stories as an example, we're taught and exposed to compassion, empathy daily, and so it teaches me every day on how to be a better man, a better person, a better father, a better neighbor, a better community servant, and I'm extremely grateful for that.
Wow. I mean, I think about the problems I have with my business, and some of the other problems that are out there. It just seems like so small relative to some of the things that you guys encounter. Like for you, I mean, how do you kind of like stay, or at least like try to stay even keel through that? Because you got to go do your job every day, and you're just riding the biggest roller coaster of all. Seeing that kind of stuff every day. So how do you manage that?
It's a good question. And the reality is that it's getting better with awareness in the fire service in 2016. For many years, it would be stuff that we just wouldn't talk about. But the fire service is transitioning to understand that us firefighters, we're human as well, and we're affected by this. And that's why 30% of firefighters have PTSD. And that's why all the challenges, that's why it's the most stressful job in the United States, along with the sleep deprivation and the underlying stress of always waiting for a call and those other things, and exposed to carcinogens and so forth. And I think what happens is a lot of firefighters will be, they do what they can to overcome that with activities like hobbies, like dirt biking or exercising, or some are become very religious, some meditate. There's different things that work for different people, obviously, because in the fire service, which I really love, we come from all different backgrounds, different ethnicities, male, female. It's a great exposure to these really cool communities of people being from different backgrounds. So I think firefighters in general in the fire service are starting to do things differently, not differently, but they're starting to find outlets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then some go to therapy. So for what I do is, I do the best I can to remain, like I said, empathetic and compassionate, and realize how fortunate I am every single day. And there are days I have bad days. I snap. I have bad days and snap on my wife, which she doesn't deserve sometimes. And it's just a certain state that I'm in that I need to get myself out of that state. Mm-hmm. And I can do that from jumping around, from smiling, from riding my bike, from hugging my wife and my daughter. So there's different things I do at work for me that may not work for other people. And so some days I'm in that state that I need to get out of. And sometimes, there's just days I just will see certain things or hear certain things and I'll just cry. And it's from, there's triggers inside of us. I'll live with that forever. I'll live with that when I retire as well. All firefighters will. And I think it's one of the components of why it's the most stressful job in the United States, because we have 20 to 30 years of those exposures. You want to help, and sometimes you do as much as you can. And yet, because of circumstances, it doesn't have the outcome you want to have. So we got to make sure we're in the right mindset to alleviate some of that stress. But we can't alleviate all of it. It's just going to be there sometimes. We can't erase everything. But I think awareness is the biggest component to feeling okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of awareness, I think right now that you were telling me about the firefighter foundation that the Third Alarm is associated with, but what was the name of the other initiative that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So with that, there's two things I'm doing to impact the fire service. Has been so great to me, and those are the dreams I'm chasing right now. Obviously, one is the Third Alarm Coffee, is that we give back portion proceeds to help firefighters affected by cancer, and I'm going to continue to do that. That's part of my big mission. And then the other dream that I'm chasing is to affect the fire service or enhance the fire service, and in some areas change the fire service in the areas of leadership. And so I'm creating a website. It's called Fire Life Leadership, and it's going to be where I deliver online leadership courses with a different aspect. And the fire service, I think, is really in need of this. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be doing some really cool things. And the whole concept is leadership is about you, not about me. And I just bring some things. It's a course, online course of 22 different videos where we introduce some different people and we get some concepts. And what we share is not absolute or law. It's basically some ideas to help people understand who they are and how they work and how they can be the most effective leader for themselves, for their fire department, mm-hmm. and then for their home life as well. And we're also offering some DISC awareness profiles, so personality profile. Mm-hmm. I'm a certified consultant or trainer in DISC, which is really cool because it's a great self-awareness tool to understand who you are and how you tick. And so we're going to offer that as well, because being the most effective leader that you can be starts with self-awareness. And I think all success in life starts with self-awareness. And so that's something else, hopefully, that will be a pretty huge impact in the fire service. But, I'm still learning the whole internet side of, getting the message out there and the Facebook side of it and, how to market and all those things. That's not what I do. So I'm learning from other people that are experts. And it's something we all have to know, because without doing that properly, then you don't get the information out. And if you don't get the information out, you can't affect change, because no one's participating in these courses and these kinds of things. So hopefully that will launch here in the next month or so, and we'll be real effective, and hopefully we'll enhance and really make an impact in fire service.
Cool. Well, yeah, you'll have to share those links with me once you get it all set up. I'm happy to shoot that out to the audience.
Thank you.
So I think that makes for a great transition to talk about Third Alarm Coffee. Take us from what gave you the idea to start the company to maybe some of your journey with the company and where it's at right now.
Okay. So I'll try to be short. I know it's funny for me. The guy talks a lot, but I'll try to be as short as I can.
It's all good.
With that is that, so short version is started the coffee company in my home office with a buddy of mine who's no longer part of the company. Nice guy, just not part of the company. And he says, hey, let's we want to start a beer company. I said, I don't want to do anything with alcohol. And so we thought coffee was pretty cool. And so I said, the only way I'll start a company is if we give back to the fire service. It's been so good to us. He's also involved in fire service. And so that's how it kind of started. And then we really literally worked out of our garage and up to where we are right now. And it's been, 6 years since we started, and we truly are growing organically. And we're doing very well. And I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I made tens of thousands of dollars of not mistakes, but business lessons, I would call them, and then been really successful in some other areas. And I've turned down many investors, to be part of the company, because I'm not really in a race right now to expand the company as fast as I can. I want the company to be sustainable. And obviously, the more money the company makes, the more we can give. The more we can give, the greater impact it has throughout the fire service and the areas of cancer. So it is important for us to continue to grow the revenue, and we will. And it's been fun, and we're continuing. We're really transitioned now. We're really more of a business to business coffee and tea company now. We have a small online presence with Amazon, and then our website. But we're really focused more on business to business, and we're in some hotels and restaurants right now, and from one of the most prestigious hotels, the Hotel Del Coronado, to Hyatt and Sheraton and so forth. And our whole goal is to connect with visionary leaders in any organization that serves coffee and tea that really understands the value of helping firefighters affected by cancer and the value of corporate social responsibility. And we didn't realize this until down the road, but these organizations, from like hotels and restaurants and airlines and cruise ships, all these different places that offer coffee and tea to their customers, clients, or they can partner up with us for the same product that they're already providing and fulfill a CSR component for their organization, which consumers really, really like. And so that's what the message we're getting across to these visionary leaders that can make these decisions, that understand not only can we provide quality coffee and tea to them, but we can save them money, and they can help firefighters and be part of their community on a local and a global aspect. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty powerful thing. So there's some really, so we're doing some really cool things to shift our whole business, basically to focus on just providing for business to business, because we can do more for the greater. And so we're just kind of in that route to, we want to do things like partner up with the restaurant chains to help increase their breakfast menu and help create a campaign for them around Third Alarm Coffee and how their coffee helps firefighters fight cancer. And so we can inspire firefighters to go to that respective establishment and everybody else that supports firefighters to eat breakfast and so forth. So there's a lot of things we're doing to continue to partner up with different organizations.
Yeah, well, and one of the things I love that you said when you're talking about how you turn down potential investors, sure, a lot of entrepreneurs out there are like, whoa, like that sounds kind of crazy. So like, talk more about like the values that you instilled for your business and kind of, how you put that in place.
Yeah. So we have our 8 values. It's on our bag, and then we have our mission, vision statement, and it should be on the other side there.
The side. Oh yeah, there you go.
So that's kind of what. There you go.
Up close and personal. All like social purpose, service, gratitude, great compassion, integrity, leadership, privilege, authenticity.
So yeah, so those are our 8. So it's multi-cross has 8 different points, and it means something historically, and then we create our own 8 points. But the reality is, I'm in a fortunate spot. So at the fire service, it's really a safety net for me, so I can afford to make some mistakes, and I have. A couple years ago, I was in debt $100,000, and I'm not anymore, obviously, and so I like to take a risk, and I'm in a position where I can do so, and I also want to have the ability to control what happens with the company, the Third Alarm Coffee and Tea Company, because I don't want people to come in and ruin what the vision is and the mission is. And at the end of the day, it's really to impact the fire service and give back to industry that's been so good to me. And I want to have control of that. And I think I think when the time is right, our company will explode and do some massive things, and we're getting there. And I think it's the journey that's going to help me be a better entrepreneur as well, without having the pressure of somebody else's money. And so I'm in a position where I can do that, and the grind is longer, I guess you could say. You know, it's been 6 years now, and who knows, maybe another 6 or maybe another 2 years where we're making 7, 8 figures. You know, we're close to that now. And it's maybe longer, and I'm okay with that. And I have some internal dreams of a certain number that I want to give to the Firefighter Cancer Support Network, who I truly believe in. And I don't want anybody to have the ability to rob that away from me as an investor. And so, I mean, we're talking with Costco right now. There's a lot of different cool things we can do to really increase our revenue. But I wanted to just maintain the longevity and integrity of the brand. And so, you know, that's where I am now. If the right partnership came up, maybe, you know, an investor maybe would do it. But the reality is we don't need to do that. You know, I opened up a coffee shop as well and was very successful with that. And then I sold that and doubled my investment. And that was more of a challenge for me to say that I could take a business and invest and double my investment. Because I hear a lot of people talk about business coaching and this and that, but I've never done anything like that. And so I've done a lot of different things because of I have the control of the company. I'm able to do these different things to grow and learn professionally myself as well. So it's been really good. And what we're doing in our mission is very, very pure. And so it's not just a bunch of bullshit that we want to help the fire service. It's very pure and intentful. And I want to maintain control of that to continue to impact the fire service.
Yeah, well, I love that. And, you know, just focusing on the cause is like such an important factor. And then the other part that I heard in there is that you're in it for the marathon.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important point. I mean, that's something that I wish I had kind of wrapped my head around earlier on in the journey is because I wanted to get to the end so badly, but then I realized that the end like kind of sucks because it's like then the journey is over and then you're like, and then what?
Yeah.
And the marathon is like, you know, where you really learn and enjoy things, and you know, no matter how bad things get, like you're still in the game.
Yeah, it's a journey, not a trip.
Yeah.
So a trip, we know where we're going. Journey, we learn along the way, right? And I've been there too. There's times where I'm like, okay, I'm here now. I kind of want to lose this, like, because I want to start over again. So it's that whole process. You know, for me, it was hard for me to sit in the charity component with actually talking about that for a long time, for the first couple of years with the Third Alarm Coffee and Tea, because there's so many organizations, in my perspective, that are full of shit in that aspect. And I mean that respectfully. They're full of shit. And so a lot of money goes to administrative costs and not the real cause. And so I didn't really even talk about it. And then later on, I realized that wasn't right or fair to my whole intention of what I want to do and the impact that I can have, or the Third Alarm Coffee can have the fire service. So just recently, I'm really starting to showcase what we do and our partnership with the Firefighter Cancer Support Network and how real that is and the impact we're making. And it's okay to do that. Kind of, we're talking about, you know, sit in that and understand that's okay, because what I'm doing is real and pure. It's not one of those other organizations that are trying to do something funky or weird. We're really intentful and pure about the impact and of our partnership. And so it's been interesting, and I'm going to continue to showcase what the Firefighter Cancer Support Network does and how we're involved with them. And hopefully this will continue to grow and we'll make a big impact in the fire service.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, you know, more entrepreneurs have to think about is like, how can you socially give back? Yeah. You know, as you're on the road to creating a successful business, because you know, we can talk about the bottom line here, right? I mean, it's going to affect your bottom line because you're doing good things. And more importantly, you're going to do good for others, and that's going to give you personal fulfillment. And then, you know, eventually your employees and whoever gets involved, you know, you're going to create a great culture because of that. And I think that's, you know, we talk about these magical businesses, like they have a lot of that tied into them.
Yeah, you're right. It's all fulfillment is a big part of it. You know, I know any of us could probably go out and create these funnels and sell packages and do all this and make a crap load of money and then be out of the game. But for me, that's not what any of this is about. It's about fulfillment, and it truly is about impacting the fire service. I'm extremely grateful every single day, multiple times throughout the day, for being able to do what I do in the fire service. And I'm obsessed with giving back to the fire service to the best of my ability. It will resonate with some people in the fire service and outside the fire service, and it won't with others, and that's fine. And I'm doing what I think is right and how I can create and create an impact. And when I'm gone from the fire service, still have that impact. And I think it's just something that's been important to me.
Yeah, well, I can see that, and I think that transitions perfectly into our next topic, which is people. And we were talking about this before we jumped on the interview about the quality of the people that you surround yourself with, and you have a really unique way, especially it's summer out here in San Diego, that you think about how you kind of find the people that you surround yourself with. So can you talk a little bit about that methodology?
Yeah, I think every relationship is a process. And some relationships we'll be able to go deeper with, and some we won't, and that's fine. And in the personal development space, everything comes down to relationships. Everything in business, leadership, it's all about relationships. First, the relationship you have with yourself, and then how you have relationships with other people, and then vice versa. And so for me, I want to be around people that are very real, people that can tell me straight up front how they feel. And I have a pretty good bullshit meter, I think. And so I want to be around people that are compassionate, empathetic, that are supportive, but at the same time who they are and what they're about, and not like they're one way in this group, another way in this group, one way on camera, another way off camera. And so the journey that I'm taking is in the personal development space, and the people I'm circling myself around, I think are the leaders right now and going to continue to be the leaders. There's a big shift. I think that we're seeing in the personal development space. And so I call it the pull theory. And I try to implement this in a lot of different areas of my life. And so imagine if there was a pool, and there's a bunch of people inside this pool and having cocktails or soda pops or whatever they drink, and people around the pool also in lounge chairs getting some sun. And you show up to the pool. And there's two ways you can enter the pool. One way is to jump in and do a big cannonball and splash everybody in the pool and outside the pool and get everybody wet so they know you were here. And then the second way is to walk down the shallow end and then start walking to the pool and make your way over to the deep end. And on your way over there, you can stop off and start talking to people. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? What do you do? Oh, that's great. Okay, interesting. And talk and make these relationships, or figure out who you want to kind of be with in that pool and who you don't want to be with, who you resonate with, who you don't, who you can serve, how people can potentially serve you, how you can collaborate, who you can partner with, or who you just want to hang out and have a beer with, or whatever it is. And then people realize, oh, wow, yeah, you're here. Hey, Lucas is here. What's going on? How you doing? Where you been? I've been here for the past 2 hours. Where the other guy went in cannonball and jumped in and got everybody wet, and they knew he was here, but nobody wants to talk to him, right? And so it's kind of what I've been doing with personal development. I've been in the space new, for a few years, and watching and listening and looking and feeling for the people that I really want to be around. And so for me, I think the people that I'm around are heart-centered. They're real. There's no shiny shirt. Let me make a lot of money off of people. They want to really create an impact with people. They really want to make a difference. They really share true stories about who they are, what they're about. And I resonate with that. They're not trying to have people be who they are. They're empowering people to be who they are, which I think is really important. And so I continue to navigate and do that. And some people get upset that I don't want to hang around them anymore. And some people get it, some people don't care. But it's just kind of an approach that I'm taking. It's just one approach, and it works for me. And so the pull theory, or the pull method, that's what I call it.
For sure. Well, and it's so cool. And I want you to talk a little bit more about how the intuition plays into that, because there's so much of the time that our intuition tells us it's not good to hang out with someone, and we don't listen. We do it because we want to fit in, or we want to please someone. Talk a little about how maybe you've gotten over that, or maybe you've seen other people kind of get through that too, how to get through that.
Yeah, I think everybody has intuition, and some people develop a little better than other people, and anybody can develop their intuition. It's we all know this. They've done science on intuition, or the sixth sense, and how real that is, and the feeling you get, or the goosebumps you get, or the energy you feel when somebody walks in a room and you feel a certain way. It's real. That's real stuff. It's energy and your intuition telling you certain things. And there are many times we don't listen to that for whatever reason. Kind of like we talked about, I think. We want to be part of this group, or we want this person to like us. And the reality is, it doesn't matter how famous somebody is, how much money they make, or whatever influence they have. If you don't resonate with them for whatever reason, then you shouldn't try to force that. And so often I think we try to do that, and including myself. And I think that a couple of different things following intuition in life. One example is that even with friends or family, There's a saying that's out there, and I really do live by it, that never make anybody a priority who make you an option. And how often in our life, how all of us that are listening or watching, have we made somebody a priority who they make you an option? They don't return phone calls or text messages. They don't show up. They don't give as much in the relationship as you give. And if that's affecting you, then you have to make a decision to say, okay, I'm not going to make that person a priority anymore. Love them. They're great people, but I'm done making them a priority because this is how I feel and I don't like this. And so that's intuition, I think. This is a small example of intuition. And so I think the biggest thing is just be who you are, be what you're about, be around the people that make you feel good about yourself, and follow your intuition sooner rather than later so you can save time and save energy and focus on what is important in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just awesome advice for people. And speaking about doing the things that you want to do, let's talk about like what dreams. You're kind of getting earlier into the what you're going to be doing, but talk about what dreams you're specifically chasing now.
Yeah, we got to have dreams. The greatest people in our world have always had dreams, from the people that, and it's debatable, the Wright brothers who fly and all that, but, that we fly, we have trains, we have automobiles, we have electricity, all the things that we have. These people were dreamers. And it is important. And your podcast is very fitting. I think a lot of times people are afraid to dream. And where our dreams are torn down by people sometimes that are closest to us, our family, our friends. And so we doubt our dreams, we doubt ourselves. And I think the important component to when we think about dreams is to think about what's going on in our world, like the things people have created. These scientists have created these amazing different things. Cars drive by themselves, all these amazing, we go underwater in submarines. I mean, the list we can go on and on about what people have done. And think about those folks and how many people told them that it couldn't be done. And we are reaping some of the benefits because those people continue to dream and create for us. And we see that with people in today's society that continue to dream. So dream and dream big, and whatever that may be. And everybody's dream is different, which is fine. It doesn't have to be these massive things of flying or driving automobiles or things of that nature. But follow your dreams and don't listen to the critics. And if you're serious about what your dreams are, make the sacrifices. A lot of times people will dream and want the benefits of what their dream would bring them, but don't want to put the work in. And every single one of us, including myself, have been, we victimized ourselves of that, right? We've done that to ourselves before. So I say continue to dream and don't listen to any critics. And you can be 3 feet from goal. It's a great book by one of my mentors, Greg Reed. And it talks about that in Think and Grow Rich. So the reality is continue to dream. Some dreams I'm chasing right now, I have many dreams, many different dreams. And we talked about impacting the fire service with Third Alarm Coffee and also Fire Life Leadership. And something else that I really want to do, and I'm pursuing, I shouldn't say that I'm pursuing it. I'm just very, very green at it, still learning speaking and how to impact people in a very effective way, and not just be a speaker, a keynote speaker, but be a keynote communicator and actually communicate and touch people on an emotional level when I speak. And so I'm trying to circle myself around the people I think are best communicators on stage that really affect emotion in people to help them shift to be the best they can, so those people can dream. And so that's something that I'm really chasing, so to speak, right now, and working on a TED Talk and reading a bunch of books and mentors in that space, because it's an art and it's a craft to be able to effectively communicate and change people so they can chase their dreams. Imagine what our world would look like if we all chased our dreams. Right?
It's so cool.
Yeah, and how inspiring it would be, and how uplifting, and how fun it would be, and how we could share these great stories instead of sharing all the shit and the crap that's going on in this world and the bad stuff. If we just actually chased our dreams and we let nobody get in our way, and we were unapologetic about our dreams and about what we wanted to do and how we were going to get it, and we were kind during the way, right? We were strong, but we were kind during the whole process of chasing our dreams. Imagine how many people would affect other people when chasing their dreams and accomplishing their dreams. And the reality is that shit could happen, man. Like, that could really happen if people just sit in their own power and who they are and say, you know what, bullshit. I'm going to chase my dream, and I'm going to accomplish my dream, and I'm going to learn I'm going to sacrifice what I need to, and I'm going to do this because I'm so obsessed with doing this, whatever it may be. And so, yeah, anyways, if I can invite anybody to do anything in life is chase your fucking dream. Chase your dream and let nobody tell you that it's impossible, and push the naysayer aside. Look at them in the face and smile and say thank you and move on. Don't argue with anybody. Everybody has a right to be wrong and to say thank you very much and move on.
That's beautiful. I gotta let that breathe for a little bit. Just like feeling the heat. Woo!
Nice.
Bringing it. I love it. Man. Okay, so that's great. Now I'm more fired up than I was already, and that's great. So appreciate that. And to wrap things up, Rich. So, if you were going to give one piece of advice, being where you are now, to your younger self, what would it be?
For me, that's easy. But again, this is all respective or relative to each person, right? So the advice that I would give, thinking back about me 20 years ago, was I would spend less money and time on partying, and more money and time on self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And realizing, so I guess my advice would be for people to, sit in who they are, what they're about, and to figure out really what inspires them and what they're good at. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen just by listening to this podcast. It may, that'd be great. And I think the reality is, listen to your heart, your soul, listen to other people tell you what you're good at, and pursue that. Mm-hmm. And do what fires you up. The reality is we got to pay bills. We have to do different jobs to make sure we eat and we can pay our rent or mortgage or so forth. But it doesn't mean you can't work your ass off. It does to work on what you're passionate about, to make a transition, to live a life of freedom and live a life that you want to live. But it takes work. And so, I hate when people say, I'm just going to tell you some inspiring words and then, your life's going to be great, because that's bullshit. You know what? How about I'm going to tell you some inspiring things. And the reality is you better take action to live the life you want to live, because it takes work. Like, this shit is work. Like, it takes work to get where you want to be. And so the reality is, just do the work. Just do the work. Wake up and do the work. And doesn't mean you can't take days off. Take days off, but do the work and work and work and work. And so, spend money and time on developing who you are as a person to be the best you, nobody else. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, and share the gifts and abilities that you have, and start doing it now. Just start doing it.
I love it. That's great stuff. I mean, you can't ask for a better ending than that. So I'm just gonna put the icing on the cake there and say, Dream Chaser Nation, it was a pleasure to have you all, and I'm going to be linking everything that is Rich on our website, which is schoolofdreams.co. Again, it's schoolofdreams.co. Rich, thanks again for coming on and blessing the audience with your fire. It was a pleasure, and we're looking forward to seeing how things develop for you in the future.
Thank you for putting this together, and it's people like you that will continue to inspire people to live their dreams, to chase their dreams. And so continue, everybody out there, to chase your dreams. And Lucas, you do the same.
Hell yeah. Amen, brother.
Thank you.